Today we're going to be going over 3 easy chromatic guitar ideas, and I'm going to show you guys some of the kind of good zones on the guitar. I've found that chromatics work well and very easily and simply, and there's kind of 3 different variations of fingerings that I tend to lean towards when using chromatics. And I associate everything to the kind of pentatonic box of where it lies. It's just how I look at the fretboard. And so even though we're playing chromatic and it's not the pentatonic scale or something like that, I'm going to be referring to the pentatonic shape that I kind of see this in, because that just helps me make sense of what's going on, and I hope that helps with you guys as well. Now, early on in my playing, when I only played like pentatonic scale, and of course I wanted to get out of the pentatonic box, learn different ideas, I always wanted to be able to do chromatic because I've heard of this thing. I saw guys like Guthrie Govan using those, and I was super impressed, and I loved the sound. I thought it was super cool, but I just didn't know how to use it. Really, it's like you hear chromatics and it's kind of like obvious in a way because you're just playing chromatics, but it's like how to actually do it kind of gets complicated. So hopefully after today you'll have 3 great starting places and fingerings to start practicing using chromatics to start implementing it into your playing. Before we get applying it on the guitar, I just wanted to go over some of the genres I find that chromatics naturally work better in, and sometimes to where you got to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more precise if you're going to use chromatics. You know, jazz, blues, even like more chicken picking country stuff, I find chromatics work very naturally and easy. Kind of 70s rock and roll, it seems to work well. But then as you get into more 80s rock to metal and things like that, I find chromatics work, but you got to be very, very precise with it because it doesn't necessarily fit the genre perfectly, especially if you're like in pop music or pop country or something like that. If you're trying to throw chromatics in that, you can, but it's going to be a little bit more precise, and timing it is going to have to be more well thought out. But in like a blues or a jazz or kind of old rock and roll, you pretty much can throw them in whenever you want, and it makes opening the fretboard up a little bit more relaxing when you're improvising over a blues or a rock track. There's kind of 3 basic fingerings that I use, and then we're going to kind of look at some different ways of using it on the fretboard. I'm going to go through every fingering, just starting on the G string 5th fret. And I'm going to be thinking for just A minor pentatonic for today for everything. So the first, fingering is just, and that's just 5, 6, 7, 8. Back down. That's kind of a very common one that I like to use. And then the more kind of expanded version of that, which is not fully chromatic, but I still look at it as chromatic, is just going. So that's, in this case, that's 5, 7, 8, 9. So we're getting a whole step in between there. So that's kind of the 2 4-finger approaches. And then there's a 3-finger approach that's very simple. It's just, and we'll go over that as well. So we have, and then, also if you would like tab for today's lesson and also access to a bunch of other lessons, go check out my Patreon. The link is in the description below. There's tons of great lessons over theory, picking, legato, some tapping lessons, all kinds of different stuff. So go check that out if you're interested in that. The link is down in the description below. All right, so the first idea I want to go over looks like this. Now, like I said, I'm thinking A minor pentatonic. Just how the tuning of the guitar is on the G and B string, just how it kind of flows. If you use this 4-finger shape, it instantly is just a very extended, straight chromatic thing where it's symmetrical on both strings. So doing that right there is literally 8 consecutive chromatic notes. And you don't have to move at all. It's the same symmetrical shape. So keep that in mind. It really helps out when you're doing chromatic stuff. So starting off there, I'm just going. Just get something going. So I'm just picking the 5th fret and I'm hammering all the way up. pull off back down. Then I pick the 8th fret of the G string, pull off down, 7, 6, 5. And then just for the sake of this kind of lick here, I just resolve it to the A note here on the D string 7th fret. So that's a good one to just start getting the hands going with it. The other one I like to expand upon that is something like this. So what we're doing, we're starting off the same exact way. But instead of going to the G string from here, we slide back to the 4th fret. And then hammer all the way up again. So we have... So that's, I'm on the 4th fret, I'll hammer 5, 6, 7, pull off back down. Now I go to the G string, 7th fret, and then I pull off down. So that's 7, 6, 5, 4. And then just to end off, I'll slide back to that 2nd fret root note there of the A. So I love that one. One thing I really like about that is it gets me in a different pentatonic position, so it kind of forces some different ideas and phrases, because doing this first one's great, but I'm still in that position 1. We're kind of still stuck there, and it's kind of cool to experiment out and see how you can navigate the fretboard from a different starting point, and that kind of gets you there by doing this. So that's the first chromatic idea that I would start working on. It's a great one. Just kind of connecting both of those, getting all 4 fingers involved, and seeing it right there in that pentatonic position 1 zone on that G and B string. All right, so now the second chromatic idea that I like to use looks like this. It uses the that whole step 4-finger shape, but I like to start it in the position 2 zone of the pentatonic. So up here, so we're still in A minor pentatonic, but we're in that 2nd position, and I see it like this. So say we're just kind of doing these normal kind of blues rock licks. Well, I'll throw it in right here. On the high E, I'll go 8th fret, and then just hammer 10, 11, 12, back down. If I wanted to extend it, there's a couple different ways I might do that. I might do it like this, and then slide back, and then go to the normal 4-finger shape. So like... something along those lines. All right, let's hear that in context real quick. And the other way I might use it is actually just moving the same shape up a whole step and doing the same exact thing. And then from there, I kind of decide I might be in seeing position 3 of the minor pentatonic. So I might end it, you know, we could just go, or you can go, or you can go. Something along those lines. That's a really fun one. I love that. Just seeing it. It's a cool one to start getting going. It's a lot easier higher up on the fretboard, so might be kind of do it up here. But I like to see it starting off in that position 2 area and maybe slide up to position 3 of the pentatonic. Awesome. And so the last one, I've seen a lot of different guys use it, but my favorite is Guthrie Govan, and he just absolutely rips it and shreds it. And there's actually 2 zones on the fretboard that I personally kind of reach towards when using this shape. You can obviously use it all over, and this is just going to be utilizing the 1, 2, 3 shape. But what's cool is we can use this in octaves and kind of a little bit more of a symmetrical octave way, and we get something like this. So we can navigate big runs across the whole fretboard, something like this. So this one actually, in this area, is starting in the 5th position of the pentatonic right here, which would typically look like this. And remember, this is position 1. The classic little pentatonic position there. So we're just starting 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. We move up a whole step, and then we go 5, 6, 7 for the next 3 kind of strings. But we're staying on the A string, so we go. So that's 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, and then 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. Then we move up. Because of the tuning of the G and B string, and we're trying to follow the pentatonic a little bit here, this shape is kind of changes a little bit. So we're going to go 7, 8, 9, and then 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, and then lastly 10, 11, 12. So it takes up a lot of the fretboard kind of using this shape. And yeah, that's kind of the pattern right there that I like to use it. If I was descending, I'll go. And that's just starting here on the 12th fret. Sliding back, hammering up, pull off, pick, pull off, pull off, pick, pull off, pull off. And now from this point, I'm seeing this G string as the same thing that we did on the high E. So now we're just duplicating that pattern. Same thing with the A string here. That's where the octaves come here. We're actually just duplicating the same shape in octaves. So that's one way I like to use that shape. This one's awesome. The other place on the fretboard that I love using it is kind of starting in the position 3 area and walking up the fretboard. So it looks like something like this. That's going from position 3, 4, all the way up to 5. And so that's, in this case, an A minor is going to go 10, 11, 12 on the E, A, and D string. Then we move up to 12 with our first finger. We go 12, 13, 14 on the D and G strings. The B string's going to be 13, 14, 15. And then we're going to end off on the 15, 16, and 17 on the B and high E. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you got a lot out of it, and I'll see you guys back next time.